What is going on, everybody? I know why you're here. You know why you're here. We all know why you're here. That's for some top-notch fantasy football content. And us guys here at the Fantasy Council, we're going to give it to you. Miles, Rob, what's going on?
Just chilling, man. Excited to talk about some hot takes this week. I got a good one.
Yes, sir. Some spicy hot takes this week. Chris, you want to kick us off?
Of course. All right, my first hot take is that Kyren Williams is going to finish as a top 5 fantasy running back the rest of the way. I know, it's pretty fucking crazy. Right now, to start, he's actually RB5. He came into the season not drafted in most leagues. No one really knew too much about him going to year 2 from Notre Dame. K-Makers was supposed to be their guy, etc. He's not even there anymore. He's in the Vikings. He played 100% of the snaps last week, which is, I don't remember the last time that happened for a running back. That's ridiculous. Of the last 2 games, he's had 40 of their 41 opportunities out of the backfield. He's had 17 targets in the last 2 starts. He only caught 2 of 7 last week, so I think he only had 8.5 points. But his first 2 weeks were just monster weeks, and with that volume, that volume is elite. It's elite RB usage volume, and that's what you want out of your top guy. The only RBs I can really see ahead of him, finishing the year wise, just kind of looking at everything, I see CMC ahead of him. I see Bijan ahead of him. I see Tony Pollard ahead of him, and potentially Travis Etienne. And I see him right there at 5, honestly. This is a little bit of a hot take. There's some great guys, but he's going to outscore Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, Jahmyr Gibbs, Ken Walker. I know Mostert's RB1 right now, but he's going to outscore Raheem Mostert, Joe Mixon. Anyone in that range, I'm confident Kyren Williams is going to be a top 5 guy. And while that is a hot take, with that elite usage, with that Sean McVay offense, he's literally their guy. 100% of the snaps is unheard of. Touchdown upside's there. The receiving upside is so there. Yeah, that's my hot take. Top 5 running back, Kyren Williams.
No, yeah, you definitely. I'll let you go, Rob. All right, yeah, I definitely love the volume. I mean, like I always say, and like everyone says, volume is king, and he's getting all the goal line work. He's getting all the receiving, like you mentioned. So he's just a smash. You didn't mention Eckler. Obviously, Eckler might not finish top 5 now because he's missing a lot of games. But I think on a points per game basis, he could be up there. But I could easily see Kyren finishing above ETN. So I think the top 5 is still a pretty good hot take. But yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's crazy. It's interesting because as a prospect, he's probably the least gifted starting running back in the NFL talent-wise. He's not very fast. He's not big. Coming out of Notre Dame, he was always kind of known as more of a receiving threat than kind of a between the tackles runner. But as we've seen with Sean McVay, really his whole career, he kind of plays favorites a little bit. Sean McVay, if he likes a guy, he'll feed him. We've seen it time and time again. There has been some elite fantasy options in that Sean McVay offense. Obviously, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods have been great, and we all remember Todd Gurley just dominating in the beginning of Sean McVay's coaching career. So, if the volume keeps up, yeah, I mean, top 5 might be a little bit of a stretch for me personally. I don't want to say it's impossible because not everything's possible, but the volume's there, and if Kyren Williams stays on this pace, I could see it happening. So I don't necessarily disagree, but
it is a hot take video, and he did run like a 4.6 whatever. Not the greatest prospect of all time, but a solid guy, good college production. And I just see him being a top 5 guy. It's my hot take.
Yeah, I like it. I think the defining factor for that is going to be touchdowns at the end of the day because the Rams offense looked a lot better. But then this past week against the Bengals, they did not look as good as they did the first couple weeks. So I think the touchdowns, that's going to be the key make or break thing for Kyren Williams.
Yeah, it was a lot due to the pass protection, though. The pass protection was horrible against the Bengals. They were getting after Stafford just over and over and over again.
Stafford got killed in that game multiple times.
But the touchdown upside for Kyren Williams is obviously there. I mean, he has 4 touchdowns already, and he had none last week, so he had 2 per game the first 2 weeks. So I wouldn't say the touchdown upside isn't there.
Yeah.
All right, your league guy. Sorry.
Yep. No, you're good. All right, I'll kick it off with my hot take. It's Tank Dell to finish as a top 12 receiver. That's right, a wide receiver 1. I'm going to take it back to college before the NFL. He was a mega producer in college. In 2022, his final year, He led all players in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns with 1,398 yards and 17 touchdowns, and he was second in receptions with 109. I think Charlie Jones had 110, so he was only one behind first for receptions as well. The only real knock on his profile was that he was undersized, and he is very undersized. He's like 5'8", 160 about. And that's kind of why he, so that's why he kind of fell to the third round. I think teams were really worried it wouldn't translate. But now he's basically doing the same thing in the NFL that he was in college for Houston. I got a stat here from Fantasy Points Data. He's seen his first read target share increase every week. Week 1, it was 14.8%. Week 2, 21.2%. And week 3, 31.6%. And he's led the Texans with a 23.6% overall target share the past 2 weeks. He also possesses an insane 143.2 passer rating when targeted, which is the first in the NFL. And he's only going to continue to improve as the year goes on. We all know how rookies work in that regard. And his fellow rookie, QB C.J. Stroud, has played really well, and he'll continue to grow too. I mean, he's already looked great through 3 games, but he should improve too. It's also important to note that Stroud actually told the Texans he wanted them to draft Tank Dell. So it's a guy he likes. And then the last point I wanted to bring up, just to put into perspective his start to the year, is that Justin Jefferson through week 3, his rookie year, had 42.5 fantasy points. And we all know he had a crazy year. He finished as a wide receiver 6. Tank Dell, through his first 3 weeks, has 52.1 points. So more than Justin Jefferson started with. Obviously, I'm not saying he's as good as Justin Jefferson or he's going to finish wide receiver 6 or, follow the same career arc or any of that. But I think in his range of outcomes is a top 12 finish.
Yeah, I actually do think Tank Dell already is better than Justin Jefferson. No, but I like to take Tank Dell. He looks good. That touchdown pass last week, a little kind of nitpicky thing, but that wasn't the best throw by C.J. Stroud. Tank Dell was wide open, but he's kind of looking over his right shoulder. The throw came over his left shoulder. He had to kind of adjust, make a nice catch. I'm pretty sure I forgot what website does it, but they only put like a sub 50% completion, like expected completion percentage on that throw. It was sub 50%. So that was a nice play from Dell too. He's a separator. He gets open. Stroud loves him. So top 12.
That's another thing about Tank Dell. He's great at tracking those deep balls. He was in college, and he looks to be doing the same in the NFL.
Yeah, and Stroud puts it on him. So yeah, I like it.
Stroud's one of the most accurate guys, and Tank Dell does a lot. Like we were talking about, he separates ridiculously. Yes, he's undersized, but he can also win you weeks. He's had 2 deeper touchdowns this week. He had 1 call back in week 2. We could have even more stats than he's already got. I think he's wide receiver 13 right now at the moment. Yeah. And each week he's actually increased in his snap percentage, his snap share. He's the number 1 guy. Right? Like last week, he ran more routes than anyone on the team, higher target share than anyone on the team. And like Miles was saying, like rookies just improve. Him and Stroud just seem to have that connection. This guy's kind of the limit. I mean, yes, it's a hot take. Top 12 is an elite wide receiver season. That's a wide receiver 1 year. Being that as a rookie, as a 3rd-round pick, undersized, would be insane. But it's in the card. It's possible.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of fantasy, analysis is based on historical data, obviously, but it's historical data. It's a trend-based kind of industry where we're looking at old statistics to predict what could happen now, and that is not to say that these historical trends cannot be broken, because they absolutely can.
Definitely.
So, he's a smaller guy, but I mean, we're kind of seeing it a little more now. Like there's smaller guys, like Tank Dell is really small, but there's smaller guys dominating the league right now. Amon-Ra St. Brown comes to mind. Tyreek Hill's not big either. Obviously these are 2 elite wide receivers, but there's absolutely, like, just because he's small doesn't mean he can't dominate. The NFL is a passing league now, and if you're getting open, like, you're going to get the ball. Like, this is just the way it is. So I like the take. I think it's possible. Obviously, it's a hot take. But with that, I will jump to my hot take, which is a guy that, he's missed the first 3 weeks. I think, some fantasy players might have kind of forgot about him already, But this guy was a rookie last year. He plays for the Green Bay Packers. His name's Christian Watson, and he is very good at football. in my opinion. Jordan Love was actually the main concern coming into the season because obviously he had Aaron Rodgers last year. He's a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback, one of the best to ever do it. So a lot of people are saying, he's going from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love now. Is that production going to leave with Aaron Rodgers? And Jordan Love has stepped in and looked pretty solid. I mean, he's throwing to Romeo Doubs and Jaden Reed right now, who are, two respectable wide receivers, but I don't think either of those guys are on the same talent level even nearly as Christian Watson is. Just the size, speed, dynamic that Christian Watson has is absolutely insane. We've barely ever seen guys his size being as agile, quick, and fast as he is, and it showed as a rookie last year. He was 12th in yards per route run in the NFL last year, despite kind of being an absolute non-factor on the field throughout, the first 6-7 weeks of the season. Until that Dallas game where he broke out.
3 touchdowns.
And another interesting thing from the Packers, because Christian Watson, he could take a slant route to the house, but he's kind of known as more of a deep threat. What I think is really interesting is that Packers offensive line is the first graded offensive line in the league by PFF, and they're missing their all-pro guard Elton Jenkins and their all-pro tackle David Bakhtiari, and they're still the first graded offensive line in the league. They're giving Jordan Love time, and I think when Christian Watson comes back, he's going to be seeing a lot of deep targets. His ADOT is super high. It's average depth of target, so when he is targeted, it's usually down the field, which is what you'd love to see, more yards, more points. And another interesting stat, we know touchdowns are a little bit volatile, but he's 5th since 2022 in touchdowns per start. It's a little volatile, but there's guys who just have a knack for getting in the end zone. That's in company I want to say it's less of a fluky stat because of the company he's in there. It's it's Jamar Chase, AJ Brown, Stefon Diggs, Devontae Adams. Those are the other guys ahead of him. So I mean, those are all elite wide receivers, as we know. And if you're a good wide receiver, you got an knack for the end zone. Christian Watson certainly does. We saw in his rookie year. So I think he's going to finish as a top 10 wide receiver in terms of point per game. I can't say overall because he's already missed 3 weeks. But in terms of points per game, I think Christian Watson can explode when he comes back into this Packers offense. Everything is saying that he will. I think there's so many good statistics going his way in terms of the offensive line, how Jordan Love looks. And I think Christian Watson is going to dominate when he comes back. If you don't have him on your team and someone's, 1 or 2 worried about the injury still, please go get Christian Watson because I think he's going to crush when he comes back.
Yeah, I agree. Now's the time to buy him. They're playing Thursday. And if he explodes, he'll explode. He's going to be much tougher to buy. But yeah, hopefully his hamstring holds up.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you watched last year, it's also an eye test thing. The stats pop off, Rob said 12 yards per run, etc. But they just were staring at him in all types of red zone areas. He was literally their guy all the time. He could have caught probably 3 or 4 more touchdowns than he did in that Dolphins game, I remember, in the first half. But also I saw tweets today about him, more about Jordan Love, but just kind of showing how much upside Christian Watson could actually have. Jordan Love ranks first in average depth of target at 10.2 yards and third in deep throw rate at 16.8% of attempts 20 yards or more, which is just amazing to see. Christian Watson excels on deep targets. Yes, he can take any slant to the house. Yes, he's going to blow by almost every corner in this league. He's going to have huge plays like Rob said. He's going to score tons of touchdowns. He is so talented, so fast. I love this hot take. I actually have him in 3 of my teams. I'm trying to buy him in 2 more leagues. Huge fan. I love it. I love the hot take.
No doubt. Yeah, he is a specimen, as we like to say. And my only worry really coming into this year was Jordan Love, and he's really silenced all those worries. He's looked great through these first 3 weeks. Obviously room for improvement, but he just took over the helm from Rodgers. It's not going to be perfect. And I think him and Watson could have a really good connection through the rest of this year. And I think Jordan Love's just looking, and the Packers in general, especially with Aaron Jones being out right now, they've been missing some of those big plays these last couple weeks. And I think Christian Watson could definitely give it to him.
Yeah. I mean, for all the reasons just stated, I'm totally on board with Christian Watson. I feel like top 10 wasn't even as much of a hot take as it could have been. I could have went even higher and said, top 7, top 6 in points per game when he comes back. I don't want to be that crazy, but, I think top 10, it is, now thinking back at it, not as much of a hot take as I thought. I think it's very possible, but I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm so excited to watch Christian Watson get back on the field.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
You could just hog so many targets.
It's also, yeah. It's also exciting. Or I'll let you keep talking.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, you were saying he could hog targets. Yeah, it's exciting because it's a really unestablished receiving room. I mean, they've got rookie Jaden Reed, second-year Romeo Dobbs, Musgrave. I mean, it's wide open for him to just claim that all the targets.
Yeah. He could come right in and be that wide receiver one that they need. Like Romeo Dobbs is a very talented guy, great in the red zone too, but 12 targets last week. I could see a lot of that going to Christian Watson going forward, and just a huge breakout season the rest of the way if he can stay healthy.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, awesome. All right, those have been our some hot takes from week 3 and just going forward. Let us know what you guys think. Give us some of your hot takes. We're curious. We love hot takes. We love arguing about football. Hit us with some hot takes in the comments. Like and subscribe, and peace.
Adios.
Peace.